Greetings, divine souls. Peace and blessings to you. My name is Ashley, the Ancestral Activator, and welcome to the Ancestral Healing Portal. Now, for the last couple of videos, I've been talking about homeostasis versus balance. And homeostasis means the interdependent parts working together to create an equilibrium or relatively stable environment. And we see that in our physiological environment and in nature, right? Versus balance, where we're so used to thinking about balance in 50-50 terms, right? And it's just not true. So when we look at the different areas in our lives, we can kind of look at it in the same way as we look at it physiologically and bring homeostasis into the picture. So today I wanted to talk about 3 things that I do to bring a more of a balance or homeostasis concept to my life. And why I think this is important is because when we look at our bodies and the homeostasis of all of the different systems in our bodies, it really doesn't matter, what we feed our bodies. It always finds a way to bring homeostasis so we can operate in our daily lives, so our bodies can still thrive. So you could, be very healthy and athletic, and your body's at a certain quality or level of homeostasis. Also, you can, eat junk food and not take care of your body as well, and your body is still operating at this quality of homeostasis, even though it's a lesser quality. So what I find even more interesting is that the body knows what to do, right? It has this intelligence that whatever you give it, it uses it to bring about homeostasis or quality of life. And it's the same thing with the different areas in our lives. How do we tap into that intelligence that runs the different aspects of our daily lives? Science has already given us the system to being healthier in our bodies, right? We know that if we eat healthier, we'll feel healthier and we'll have healthier bodies. But what about the mental and emotional and spiritual side, right? How do we tap into that intelligence that can give us the information that we need on a daily basis to solve those issues in our different areas of life and bring about that sense of homeostasis and peace and things that are working in harmony instead of disharmony? So the first thing that I do to tap into this intelligence is seeking spiritual truth. And this has been a passion of mine ever since I was born. I say I was initiated by a near-death experience during my birth. It was a very traumatic experience, and it set me up to be a highly sensitive person and empath, which caused me to walk a lot differently in the world. As I was growing up, I really felt just really awkward. I felt like there was an abundance of energies around me, and I felt that something just wasn't right. My interactions with people, it's like, where did I come from? Like I grew up as, the proverbial black sheep in the family. I always felt different. I always felt disconnected. And that really led me to ask, why am I here? What is my destiny? What's my purpose here? Because I just had a difficult time socializing, connecting with others, and just being a part of, the societal norms that we see today, right? So as I continued to grow through my teenage years, I was divinely led to many books, philosophy. I really got into sociology, even got a degree in sociology. And it got me to a point where I was led to an ancient spiritual practice. I really wanted to know the truth around spiritual practices. Let me back up. I really wanted to know the truth. I grew up in a multicultural family. I learned about meditation at a young age. I learned about church at a young age. And it just really didn't fill out the picture and give me the answers that I needed. So I set a very strong intention, and I was divinely led to learn about ancient Kemetic spirituality and spiritual practices. And since then, I found that system to be the way to tap into that intelligence that runs our mental and emotional and spiritual aspects of our lives, so we can, bring about a better quality homeostasis of life. So the second practice that I have come about learning is a physical practice of Qigong. And the way that I found this practice was pretty much similar to, seeking spiritual truth. During my birth, which was very traumatic, as I said, I experienced brain damage. And it wasn't picked up until I started walking on my toes. And when they did a scan, they found that I had a mild case of cerebral palsy. And that cerebral palsy, it affects the parts of the brain that governs motor skill development and sensory development. And it stretches down, from the brain down the spine into the limbs. And even though the doctors did, an amazing job trying to fix the symptoms from the outside in, there was still a very internal part of me that it was damaged, right? In my case, it was like it was unreachable. So all of my life, I have been compensating using the muscles that I have access to compensate for what I don't feel within my body. And it led to a lot of muscle imbalances, pain. I threw out my back 3 times. And after living a very active childhood in dance, in sports, yoga, all of that, I started putting two and two together. And I realized it all stemmed from that traumatic birth experience, which initiated me into finding and seeking spiritual truth and finding a Qigong practice that has been the only practice that has brought me into my body the way that so deeply into the recesses of those places I feel like I can't reach. So tapping into that every day, doing the Qigong practice every day, really grounds me in my body and clears out the meridian channels. I exercise, it's really simple movements, and my body is in a better state to receive any intuition or wisdoms in order to solve issues in my day or solve problems in my day, which brings about a better quality homeostasis of life. So the third practice, and this ties the first and the second beautifully together, and it also stems from being a hypersensitive person and empath due to my near-death experience at birth, is the energy healing practice of Geo Love. And Geo Love means sacred geometry plus unconditional love. So about 3 years ago, when I was introduced to the practice, I was at a place in my life where I was very overwhelmed. COVID hit, you questioning why, what's the purpose of life right now? And having gone through, understanding ancient Kemetic spirituality and practices, studying it, finding the Qigong, feeling better in my body, there was still this disconnect. There was still this, how do I bring all of this together? Why do I feel like, this heaviness that's stopping me from, really immersing myself into these ancient practices and feeling better, right, about my life. And the energy healing allowed me to understand how, being a overly sensitive person, I was negotiating the energies around me and how the energies I was coming into contact with the energies around me. And it's a really interesting process to go through, because all of my life, every energy that I came into contact with, I thought was my own. As an empath, I feel the emotions of others. I feel what, I have that ability to put myself in other people's shoes subconsciously. I don't even know that I'm doing it. And that really led me to being overwhelmed, confused. At any point in time, anybody could come into my space and I would be totally knocked off energetically. Right? And I didn't understand this. I didn't understand, that this was a factor, because you don't know what you don't know until you don't know that you don't know it, if that made sense. So as I continued these practices, these energetic practices of protection, of grounding, of being able to decipher what is mine and what's not mine, allowed me to be even more clear in tapping into the intelligence that will bring me the wisdom and intuition to run my life in a more peaceful way, and in a higher quality homeostasis way. And as I grew, with my second certification and my third certification, it just got even more, it went deeper into generational energies, into karmic energies, into cultural energies, even down to the, DNA and cellular level, right? So it beautifully tied in the seeking knowledge, right? Spiritual truth, and the Qigong, and I was able to clear the energies that were not mine, that were residing in my aura or in my body or in my generational line, that were blocking me from moving forward in doing and taking action around those practices that bring a better homeostasis state or quality of homeostasis into my life. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions around, seeking spiritual truth, I do have, book titles I can give you. Just comment below or DM me and I'll share this with you. If you want to learn more about Qigong, reach out. If you want to know more about this energy healing thing, I am, doing free healings. I do have a website you can check out, ancestralactivator.com. And you can check out my offerings if you want to work with me one-on-one or in a group setting. So yeah, I hope this information helps. Please like and share if you feel like your loved ones or your family members can benefit from this information. I would love to hear from you and to give you more content around what you guys are going through. So thank you so much for your time, and until the next ancestral healing portal opens, I wish you the best of days or night, and thank you again for watching.